Habari, uhaligani. I just said hello, how are you in Swahili language, one of the languages spoken in Africa. Well, in my series of stories from the world, today I'm going to tell you all a story from Africa. This is a story from West Africa. Once there lived a blind man. The blind man lived with his sister at the edge of the village in a small hut. Although the man was blind, but he was very clever and he just helped people in their problems and gave solutions which were perfect and good for them. And all the people in the village loved him. They would always often ask him, "Blind man, how could you give such wise decisions?" And he would said, "It is because I see through my ears." And he would give them a smile. So the blind man did small chores in his house along with his sister and helped other people and gave them advice, and they sought his wise decision in many different ways. And so he lived happily with his sister. And the sister earned a living by doing some work, and that brought food to their table. Once a hunter came to their village. The hunter was really very skillful and he was well known among people. So people have great admiration for him. And so the blind man's sister and the hunter became friends and they fell in love and they wanted to marry each other. And soon the wedding took place and the hunter came to live with the blind man and his sister in their house. So often this blind man would be excited to know about hunting, and he would always suggest the hunter that he wished to go with him for hunting. And the hunter would just tell him that you are just a blind man, of no use you are. How can you ever think of going for hunting? And the blind man will feel sad, but he would just give a smile and keep quiet. Then again, a second time, once he had asked that, "I wish to go with you to the forest for hunting." And again the hunter had dismissed him, saying that a blind man cannot do all these things. You should better stay at home. So the blind man kept to himself. But once he was lucky. The hunter had hunted a big gazelle and he was very happy. His wife had cooked a very good meal. So after having that good meal, he had asked the hunter to go with him the next day for hunting. And the blind man was really very excited. So the very next day, both of them set out. The hunter took his bows and arrows and spears with him, and they took 2 nets, 2 traps to catch the birds. So soon they started in their journey through the forest, and the hunter held the hand of the blind man. As they walked through the trees, in between the trees, through the small streams, and through the sides of the ridges, to the sides of the big rocks and boulders. As they walked and walked, the hunter told him that where they were going, which place was that, and where there are the rows of trees, and where there are the small streams, and where there is the big boulders, and where there are the ridges. So the blind man just heard all these things and kept following the hunter. After a while, the blind man tugged at the hunter's shirt. The hunter asked him, "What is it?" So he said, "There is a big lion over there." The hunter was shocked. He said, "Lion? I don't see any lion here." He said, "Yes, there is a lion over there, but he won't hurt us because he had just had his meal and is taking rest under the tree." So they continued in their walk, and then they came across a really big lion, and it was sleeping under the tree, well relaxed after having his good meal. So they went past the lion, and they walked and they walked and walked. And as they walked, again the blind man tugged at the hunter's shirt. The hunter said, "Now what is it?" He said, "There is a big elephant." He said, "Big elephant? I don't see any elephant here." He said, "Yes, there is a big elephant, but I'm sure it won't hurt us because it is inside the pond and is taking a shower there. He's playing with the water." So soon they walked across that pond and they found a really big tusker who was taking a bath in the pond. And it didn't disturb them because it was enjoying its bath. And so they went forward, and soon they came to a clearing. And the clearing was very good, and the hunter helped the blind man set the trap. So both of them each set a trap. And the hunter said, "So we are coming back tomorrow morning and see what is getting trapped in our nets." So they returned back home. When they were walking back home, the blind man didn't hold the hand of the hunter because now he could know the path, and he went on walking all by himself. He went very carefully. He didn't fall. He didn't have an accident. He went through the small streams and puddles and the big boulder and the rows of trees, through the meadows and through the fields, and he walked all by himself, and both of them reached home safely. So the next morning, the blind man was very excited. He was just eager to know what he has got, what animal has got trapped in his net. So both of them went to the forest. Now also the blind man didn't take the help of the hunter. He walked all by himself, for now he know the path very well. And as they came to the clearing, the hunter saw that in his net there was a dull grey bird has got trapped, whereas in the net of the blind man there was a big, beautiful colored bird there with all blue, green, crimson and golden feathers over its body. And now he felt a little bad that the blind man has got such a beautiful bird, and in my net there is just a grey, dull colored bird. So now he had a plan. He just took out the beautiful colored bird from the net of the blind man and kept it inside his bag. And he took out the grey dull color bird from his net and gave it to the blind man to keep in his bag. And they returned from that place. While coming back, the blind man didn't speak or utter a single word. So now the hunter had something guilt feeling. So to get rid of that, he said, "Okay, blind man, people say you are that clever. So just tell me why there is so much hatred, anger and warfare in this world." The blind man said, "It is because some people think the things of others as theirs and they keep it for themselves." Now the hunter felt very ashamed of his deed, and he immediately took away the colored beautiful bird from his bag and gave it to the blind man, and took out the dull grayish color bird from the blind man's bag and kept it inside his bag, for that bird was trapped in his net. So now they went on walking and walking through the forest, through the ridges, through the beautiful meadows, and through the rows of trees, and through the big boulders and the little streams and canals. And as they were walking and walking and walking, the the hunter again asked the blind man, "Okay, blind man, if you are so wise and so clever, tell me why there is some gentleness, kindness, and merriment people make, and people enjoy the pleasure of each other's company. Why is it so? If you are so clever, just answer this question to me." Then the blind man said, "Well, it is because of people who realize their mistakes and correct it soon. So that is why there is kindness, gentleness, pleasure, and joy in this world." And the hunter heart was filled with joy. He was very much thankful, and he understood the real meaning of life. And so as they reached home, they were very happy. The blind man was very happy. And so when people around asked the blind man, that "Blind man, how come you are so wise?" Then the hunter would say, "Because he sees with his ears and hears through his heart, and that is why he is that wise." So this is the end of my story. And what we learn from this story is that each and every people have their potential and capability, and we should not dismiss or think lowly of people who are differently abled, because they too have some skill and potential of their own. This is the end of my story, and if you like this story, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.